Hey there, so good to have you back for our weekly Pastor's Corner. Once again, we're using the upper room. Our devotion this week is the theme Guidance, and it's found on January the 31st, and it's under the title Eager to Serve. So I want to raise the question, are you guided by the Lord, guided by the Holy Spirit? I make a joke a lot of times on Sunday mornings about my love for fried chicken and how that as I'm driving by Kentucky Fried Chicken, sometimes the car begins to head that direction. And I just take that as a movement of the Holy Spirit. It just has to be. Let me share with you just the opening couple of paragraphs in this devotion. The author says, "My friend Sheila was asked to help at a church function. So one wet and windy evening, she made a considerable effort to be at the church. When she arrived, she found that she was not needed. So then she turned around and started her journey back home. A man sitting in front of her on the bus turned around and said, 'I'm going to ask JC to stop this rain.' Sheila quickly replied, 'I think Jesus Christ is more interested in your soul.' They got off the bus at the same stop and continued their conversation. Sheila gently explained the love, sacrifice, and redemption offered by the one whose name the man had taken so lightly. It turns out that Sheila was just where God wanted her to be." Now, I love that opening because that's one of those God moments. Sheila thought she was supposed to be at church, and then on the way back, they didn't need her. It seems like that's where she was supposed to be. Have you ever felt God kind of put you in a place like that? Does God guide you in your day-to-day activities? And if we're to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit to be somewhere, how do you get the spiritual antenna up to know when it's God's voice and not, voice of your parent, your grandparents speaking in your head or your conscience? And then when you hear that voice, like, this is where I'm supposed to be, I don't quite understand, but this is God leading me, do you follow suit? The final question, which I think would be good, would be the idea of how do you get into that place, the spiritual disciplines. And the basic ones are prayer, studying the scriptures, going to church, giving to others, living sacrificially, living simply. I mean, there's a list of spiritual disciplines that are not trying to get you good enough for God, but just get you in the right mental attitude so that God can speak to you. I challenge you in all these requests today. Blessings.